guys, Bear Gaming here, back with some more, well, kind of Idle Heroes, but more or less just a generic gacha game type of video. We don't talk about it enough, and it did kind of hit home with someone I know recently with these types of games. And let's be honest, we play these games, we talk about great value, we talk about all these things, but it really comes from a place of, do you have the means to have this type of expendable income? Because as we know, gacha games and games like Idle Heroes and all these other games that we play, they're essentially gambling. They're online gambling where you really don't get any value back out of it, whereas at least in real life gambling, you might win some money. So gacha games are, let's be honest, they're one of the most predatory microtransaction games out there. A lot of us play these games like this though, just because a lot of us, I feel like we're getting older. We do have some disposable income to have fun with games. We do reason how these values make sense to us monetarily wise. But sometimes people can stretch beyond their means, not plan accordingly, and really just fall down the addiction rabbit hole that is things that are involved with gambling, because that's exactly what the game we have are. Now, we do love playing this game free to play. We do have our spender account, things like that. And I'm even going to talk about myself early on in this game and the situations we went through. But I just want to make sure, this is kind of a PSA out there. Make sure you guys are taking a second, looking at what you're doing in the game, making sure that what you are spending is within your means and you're not going well overboard, because I'm going to show you guys some stats to start out with. And it can be a bit shocking to you guys if you have not actually looked at it yourself. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Let's jump into it. Let's have a little bit more serious talk here. So on the main account here, you guys have probably seen that we've been VIP 13 since, well, honestly, the beginning of this channel. We might have been like VIP 12-ish, maybe, I don't know. But it didn't take long for us to get there. And because, well, there was an addiction to gambling, there was addiction to buying the packs. I wanted to build my scary army. I had this goal in mind, and I just want to get there as fast as possible. However, spending in a mobile game like this is probably one of the worst decisions make. You're not prepared and you're not planning. I highly suggest you plan ahead, and something like this is a ridiculous amount of money. This is the amount of money an average person should never even consider doing it. Now, the one positive we have is we're a content creator. We can actually get some money back based on what we spend on our account, make videos highlighting new heroes, kind of like talking about our project we're doing right here with Yorm Tum. This copy, technically, if you just were to buy these starry gems from, you know, down here, that copy cost, if you want to put it into a monetary sense, $1,000. It takes 10 of these to get 25,000. That was 1,000. That's not even the most expensive copy we had, because at the time, I think this Aspen we got for 28,000. I'm pretty sure the Star Swordsman Mockman and the Doom Terminator Vulcan were each in the 30 to 35 range, which means that's just like just even more money on the table. It just gets a little bit ridiculous, and yeah, you gotta really be prepared, because this is probably one of the big things that has come to the game that really gets a little crazy. You buy 10 of these packs, yeah, it gets to be a lot. So I mean, we're spending 1,000 to 2,000 per hero, and that's not even count all the other resources we're getting nowadays in these events, like Aurora gems, Scattered Spirit Vein, all these things. All the meanwhile, we've been VIP 13 for a while. A lot of you guys might be like, what, Barry, what does the VIP 13 actually mean? You want to see what VIP 13 means, or what your VIP level means to you? Here's a great way to show it. From VIP 0 all the way up to 13, you can see in US dollars, you're spending over 20,000 on this right here. Yeah, even if you are a VIP 11 or 12, 10, 9, 8, even 7. So 7 is essentially spending $1,000 on the game. This is what a lot of people get to within the first week of playing a game if they are a typical whale. They usually drop this, they build a new account, see if they like the game, and they might move on. But to an average player, that is a ton of money. If you take VIP 7, which we'll just take like, what, 1,000 divided by monthly card holder. That's 66 months. That's going to take you over or around 3 years to get to that point. So if you've been playing for a long time, you might be just a monthly card holder and be VIP 7, maybe even VIP 8 if you buy the occasional pack. It doesn't take long to get there, but it shockingly scales up once you get past, I would say, probably the VIP 9. It goes to 6, 9, 13 and a half, all the way up to 20. So it might be a shock to you guys to realize if you're just casually on like a VIP 8 to 10 type of account, you've been playing for a few years, you're like, holy cow, I spent that much. Well, we spent this much probably in the first year that we played right here, and that's not even counting the remaining 3 years that we have been playing. Granted, again, like I said, for me, luckily, I can use it as a business expense. I can then convert it into content, and then we can have an account similar to this right here that we can make stuff on, we can progress on, and we can have fun on. But for an average player, this is a very bad decision. And one thing I want to talk about specifically, and the reason that kind of triggered this, is Religion of Rage. So you guys know we've highlighted his Sun Devour EOS account, the S tier EOS way back in the day. We then started the Betty series with him. He kind of just had a realization that in the past like year or so, he's spent so much on this game, just wasting money, that he had to cut cold turkey. He gave the account to somebody else to manage in the whole meme team community. The people who build like the memes as their main heroes and all these other things, they've decided that they're going to use that account for other reasons. And so just also as a little tidbit, the Betty series will be at an end temporarily. We might pick up somebody else's Betty series. I don't know. We'll have to see how that turns out depending on what everybody decides and everything. But it will not be going on any further. And the big reason is, you guys saw, we were up to what, 4 A- or higher heroes. The Betty was already sitting there waiting with a noble core of origin. We were ready to put sublimation and all these other things into it, and literally it was like already a VIP like 9 or 10. I personally myself sent over like only 1,000 worth of starry gems over into it, so we get start the Betty, build it. But I think part of the reason is the pause on the progress on their account was honestly a godsend to Religion of Rage. Why? Because you have to wait till you're level 130 until you can really start going crazy with Destiny transitions, your trees of origin, all these other things, your cores of origin, because you have to get to the Void campaign. Until you get to the Void campaign, you can't do that until you get to level 130. As you guys can see, I'll jump over to our free-to-play account. Or actually, even the free-to-play is not the best example to show that. But you have to get to a very certain spot. I think it's somewhere in like death levels. Essentially, you have to get your account level to 130. You can see we're at 88, and we're about 3 weeks in, a little less than 3 weeks in. It takes a long time for you to get your all the way up to level 130 and then explode. So it kind of was a godsend, because you realize just spending too much money on this game is an emptyless, bottomless pit, especially when you're whaling that hard, because there's whaling and then there's megalodoning, and that was pretty much megalodoning on that account for progression. And I just wanted to make sure we talked for a second, discussed. Please be aware what you're spending in this games. They are very predatory. It's why every game in the known universe is going to like a microtransaction business. Because one little stat I found interesting, I don't know if you guys follow Blizzard Entertainment or anything like that. Literally the entirety of one of the StarCraft, I think it was Wings of Liberty expansions, like it made less money than a $15 horse in World of Warcraft, a microtransaction just for a mount. It kind of tells the businesses where to make money, and sadly that's kind of the way the industry is shifting. I mean, even all these free-to-play games like Idle Heroes, it's a free-to-play game, but if you are going to push, you're gonna have to push very hard with your wallet. So please don't take this as a shaming on anybody. It's a moment to learn and take a lesson and be aware what you're spending on these types of games, because even I had this issue way in the beginning of my mobile gaming career. I used to do this in CSR2, the racing game. I did this in a bunch of other games before I even ended up in Idle Heroes. So please be aware what you're spending. Do not go above your means, and do not go into debt, especially because of something like this. It happened very quickly, and I want to make sure you guys are 100% aware. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. If you know someone, a friend that needs to see this video, please send this over to them. They're not alone. Trust me, it's nothing to be ashamed of. But what is to be ashamed of is if you know it's happening, you keep doing it. Stop. Cold turkey if you have to. Hopefully these guys enjoy this. Hopefully you enjoy this one. Get something out of this, and I'll see you guys next time.